Ever wish you could like speed up the whole learning process? Especially when it comes to content creation.
Yeah, totally.
Well, get this. There's a place called the DNA School of Creatorship. And it's basically like boot camp for creators.
Oh, wow.
We're talking learning all about storytelling secrets, Instagram growth hacks, all that good stuff.
That's awesome.
And the best part, we're going behind the scenes for this deep dive.
Oh, cool.
And all of our sources are firsthand accounts from the students themselves.
That's amazing.
So we get to be like flies on the wall.
I like it.
Now, this isn't just another online course, right? This is a fully immersive experience.
Yeah.
They hold this thing at the IIT Madras Research Park.
Really?
And they've gone all in on like a school theme.
Interesting.
So we're talking professors, homework assignments.
Wow.
They even have school bells.
No way.
I know, right?
That's amazing.
This Deepak Kumar, the founder, he seems to have created something really special here.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not just about the hard skills,
Right.
It's about bringing together a community.
Yeah.
So tell me, what can you tell us about the instructors?
Well, these are not just any content creation gurus, okay?
Okay.
They are successful creators themselves.
Oh, wow.
Like you've got Shreyam Selvan,
Yeah.
who's known as, get this, the OG podcaster of Tamil Nadu.
Wow.
And he teaches this technique.
Uh-huh.
It's called the machine gun strategy.
What?
And it's for creating tons of content really quickly.
Okay.
So think of it as like this rapid fire approach to podcasting.
Machine gun podcasting.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
That paints a picture, right?
It does.
So are there any other like standout professors?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, who else?
So we've got Sanjeev NC, who's actually known as the Chinane Ryan Reynolds
Oh, nice.
because of his humor marketing skills.
I love that.
And the way these guys teach is just as interesting as like their credentials,
Right. Okay.
Like Manoj Andrew, for instance.
Yeah.
He uses PowerPoint to teach video editing techniques.
PowerPoint.
I know, right?
That's wild.
No, I'm seeing a lot of these accounts are talking about real world feedback being a key part of this whole experience.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Tell me more about that.
So the attendees get constructive criticism on like all kinds of their stuff, their pitches, their Instagram pages, reels, even their newsletters.
Wow.
Imagine getting roasted, but like by a room full of experts.
Okay, yeah.
Intense, but so
I
valuable.
bet. So it's like tough love, but also inspirational.
Exactly.
And what kind of impact is that having on the students?
Well, let's take, for example, sales.
Oh,
You know how it can feel so limiting to just target a local audience?
right.
One attendee completely changed their mindset, going from local sales to aiming for like global markets,
Wow.
all thanks to the insights from Ayush Chaturvedi.
Okay, so that's a big shift.
It is.
What exactly helped them make that leap?
Well, Ayush taught them how to like identify their ideal audience, but on a global scale.
Okay.
Create content that's tailored to their needs and really leverage these platforms like Instagram and YouTube.
Gotcha.
So it's not just about creating the content, it's about understanding how to use it strategically.
So they're learning how to like build a business,
Exactly.
not just create content just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Now, it's not all just business strategies they're picking up here.
Oh, no, for sure.
There's a lot of emphasis on personal growth and community too.
Definitely.
In fact, one attendee said that they actually overcame their fear of podcasting,
That's awesome.
all thanks to the encouragement of a fellow student.
That's really cool, the power of community.
It is.
Yeah.
But content creation can be tough, right?
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
So it can't all be sunshine and roses at this school, right?
Yeah.
So what do they do about that?
Well, they focus on these small wins
Okay.
as a way to combat that burnout.
Makes sense.
So the attendees are constantly being reminded to acknowledge their progress, no matter how small, whether it's gaining 10 new subscribers or having a post shared by an influencer.
Yeah. Like we all need those little dopamine hits to keep us going, right?
Exactly.
Especially when you're in that world of constantly creating content.
Definitely.
So it sounds like they're trying to create a more holistic learning experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, sometimes the content creation world can feel a little superficial, right?
Yeah.
Did you get any sense of that from these accounts?
Well, actually, one of the attendees talked about this really impactful moment they had
Oh, what was that?
where they realized that even creators with these massive followings are just regular people too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They have their own struggles, their own insecurities.
Right. And it's easy to get caught up in that comparison game
Definitely.
and feel like everyone else has it all figured out.
Yeah,
But we're all human.
we are.
So we've got this intense learning, supportive community, personal growth.
Uh-huh.
And it's all wrapped up in this fun, playful school theme. I got to ask, did anybody try to pull a Ferris Bueller?
You know, one attendee joked about being a first bencher
Okay.
and wanting to get the top marks on their homework.
Nice.
So it seems like they really embraced that school theme and just had fun with it.
Good. Learning should be enjoyable, right?
Absolutely.
Even when it's challenging.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get back to like the learning happening here.
Sure.
What were some of the big takeaways for you?
Mm.
I'm especially curious about Minang Minu's approach to LinkedIn marketing.
Oh, yeah. Minag, he's great.
What's his approach?
Well, it's all about authenticity
All
and
right.
building genuine connections.
So important.
And he teaches attendees how to like stand out from the crowd
Yeah.
by using storytelling
Okay.
and attract, their ideal clients.
Makes sense.
In fact, one attendee completely revamped their LinkedIn profile based on Minang's advice.
Hey,
And they saw results within 6 hours.
6 hours.
Oh,
What did they change?
Well, they started putting in personal anecdotes in their summary,
Gotcha.
highlighting their skills and experience, but in a way that was engaging and relatable.
Okay.
Because Manonk really emphasizes this point
What's that?
that people want to connect with real people,
Right.
not just like these faceless profiles.
Makes sense.
It's about humanizing yourself.
Yeah, even on a platform like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this DNA school is all about cultivating a certain mindset.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about learning from the instructors. It's about learning from each other.
Oh, for sure.
They have these tea time conversations, right?
Yeah.
Where the attendees share tips and tricks,
Yeah.
brainstorm ideas, and just connect.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm picturing like intense brainstorming sessions fueled by chai and samosas.
That's pretty accurate.
So what kind of information are they like sharing?
Well, it's a mix of things.
Okay.
They'll definitely talk shop, share strategies and resources, but they also get personal. They'll open up about their struggles, their insecurities, their dreams.
Right.
And it creates this really supportive environment where they feel comfortable, being vulnerable and authentic with each other.
I mean, that's so important,
Yeah.
especially when you're talking about like online content creation, which can be so isolating.
Very much so.
Just knowing you're not alone in your struggles.
Definitely.
That can make a huge difference.
It really can.
So it sounds like the DNA school is pushing the boundaries of what we think of as traditional learning.
Yes.
But let's be real for a second. Did anybody experience like major breakthroughs?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Remember how we were talking about celebrating those small wins?
Uh-huh.
Well, sometimes those small wins lead to some pretty big breakthroughs.
Give me an example. Give me an example.
Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
You've poured your heart and soul into building your website.
Okay.
Friends and family are loving it.
Yeah.
But deep down, something's just not clicking.
Ooh, I felt that.
Right, and you can't quite put your finger on it.
Yeah.
This happened to one attendee.
Okay.
They went to DNA school with a website they were so proud of.
Uh-huh.
And during one of the feedback sessions, the experts helped them see some glaring flaws they had totally missed.
That's got to be tough to hear.
It is.
What kind of flaws?
So things like confusing navigation,
Right.
inconsistent branding, and a lack of clear calls to action.
Right.
Basically, the website wasn't doing its job, which was converting visitors into customers.
Okay.
But instead of getting defensive, this attendee embraced that feedback
Good for them.
and completely overhauled their site based on the expert advice.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We need to pause here for a second.
Okay.
This is exactly the kind of actionable insight I was hoping for.
Awesome.
So we've got to dive deeper into this website makeover in part 2.
I'm ready.
It's a perfect example of how valuable that expert feedback can be.
Yeah, definitely.
You coming back after the break.
Wouldn't miss it. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Love it?
It's funny how we can be so close to something but miss the obvious.
Yeah, it's like you need that outside perspective.
You need somebody to come in and shake things up a little bit.
For sure, especially when it comes to our own work.
Totally. You get so attached to your own ideas, like the colors and the fonts and the imagery. Nothing was cohesive.
Yeah, that makes it look unprofessional.
Exactly. It can even make you seem untrustworthy.
Right.
So they worked with the instructors to create like a visual language.
Okay.
It really matched their brand's personality and values.
I mean, you only get one chance to make a first impression, right?
That's right. And that visual identity is huge.
It really is. Okay, so what about the calls to action?
Yes. So the website was beautiful, but it wasn't telling people what to do.
Right, like what's the next step?
Exactly. They might have loved the content,
Yeah.
but there was no clear path to like buy something
Oh, yeah.
or sign up for the newsletter or even follow them on social media.
So they're basically missing out on all those potential leads.
Totally. So they learned about putting those calls to action in strategic places.
Okay.
So you're guiding people to do what you want them to do.
So it's like they went from having this pretty brochure to this like powerful business tool.
Exactly. And the results speak for themselves.
Okay, tell me.
So they had way more traffic,
Okay,
more engagement on the site,
nice.
and most importantly, they had more sales.
That's amazing.
I know, it's a total transformation.
It really is. It shows how much of a difference that expert feedback can make.
Absolutely. But it's not all just about the technical stuff, right?
Right, there's that emotional side to it too.
Totally. Like, remember that attendee who got over their fear of podcasting?
Yeah.
But it wasn't just about learning how to use the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
It was about getting the confidence to actually put themselves out there.
I can relate to that. It can be really scary to share your work with the world.
It can be so vulnerable, especially when you're just starting out.
So what do they do at the DNA school to help with that?
Well, they just created this really supportive environment.
Right.
Everybody was constantly like cheering each other on. They were celebrating each other's wins.
Yeah.
And offering support when things got tough.
They need that.
You do. And that kind of camaraderie makes a world of difference.
It does. So it's like they created a safe space
Totally.
to experiment and make mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. And learn without being judged.
That's so important. You don't get that a lot online.
You don't, it's like everybody's trying to be perfect all the time.
The DNA school's like, no, it's okay to not be perfect.
Exactly. They embrace the imperfection.
I would love that.
They say it's all about authenticity and vulnerability.
Uh-huh.
Be yourself, share your stories, connect with your audience.
Yeah, like be a human.
Exactly. It's not about this polished persona.
Yeah, people can spot a fake a mile away.
They can. So be yourself, be real.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier,
Uh-huh.
how even the most successful creators, they're just normal people.
They are. They have their own struggles.
So it takes the pressure off.
It does. You can just create from a more genuine place.
That makes sense. Okay, so we talked about community.
Yeah.
We've talked about the emotional support. But what about the actual content creation skills?
Oh, yeah. They covered a ton of stuff.
Okay, it's like what?
Well, remember Sriram Selvan's machine gun strategy?
Oh, yeah, for podcasting.
Yeah, it's all about that consistent flow of content. He teaches people how to batch record, streamline their editing process, and repurpose their content on different platforms.
Smart.
It's all about working smarter, not harder.
I like it. So that's podcasting.
Yeah.
What about other platforms? Like, did they talk about Instagram,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
YouTube, TikTok?
All of that.
Yeah.
One attendee actually had a big breakthrough with Instagram Reels.
Reels. Oh, yeah.
They were making good content,
Yeah.
but they weren't getting a lot of engagement.
Oh, I've been there.
And so at the DNA school, they learned about hooks.
Hooks.
Yeah, those things that grab your attention
Okay.
and using trending audio
Okay.
and really optimizing their content for that algorithm.
The algorithm. Oh.
I know, it's a beast.
So what did they learn about like cracking the Instagram code?
So the big thing was those attention-grabbing hooks in the first few seconds.
Because people's attention spans are so short these days.
Exactly. You got to grab them right away.
Or they'll just scroll on by.
That's it. And they also learned about trending audio. Using sounds that are already popular means more people are going to see your stuff.
Makes sense. So it's all about like understanding each platform and what works best on each one.
Exactly. It's tailoring your content for each platform.
So it's not just creating the content, it's also about promoting it, right?
Yeah.
Did they talk about that?
For sure. They learned about hashtags,
Great.
collaborating with other creators, even like running ads.
So they're getting like a full education.
They are in all aspects of content creation.
But it can't all be just strategy and tactics. Right? So
Right.
there has to be room for like that creative spark.
Definitely. And the DNA school encourages that.
They do.
Oh, yeah. They have these brainstorming sessions where people come up with all these crazy ideas and then they just test them out and see what works.
It's about having fun too, right?
It is. It's about playing around and experimenting.
Sometimes we get so bogged down with analytics
I know.
and the algorithm.
That we forget to have fun.
Exactly.
So, yeah, they strike a good balance
Yeah, that's good.
between strategy and creativity.
So, we keep coming back to this idea of community.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that's really the magic ingredient of the DNA school.
It really is. It creates this space for learning and experimenting and growing.
Yeah, and you're surrounded by people who get it.
People who are on the same journey as you.
That's so important.
It is. It's your tribe.
It's like they created this perfect little world.
I know, this microcosm of the creative community.
But like, do these connections actually last?
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Yeah. So the DNA school is not just a 4-day thing.
Okay.
It's like the beginning of a much longer journey.
Oh, cool.
They have this online community
Oh,
where
wow.
people can stay connected,
Yeah,
share resources, and support each other even after the event is over.
that's great.
They even have these alumni meetups
Oh, wow.
where they can network and hang out.
So it really is more than just a school.
Yeah, it's like a movement.
It's like a whole community of creators
It is.
who are all about supporting each other
Yeah.
and pushing those boundaries.
It's amazing. It's really exciting.
You're right. It is exciting.
It makes me feel really hopeful about the future of content creation.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot:
Yeah.
website makeovers, podcasting, Instagram reels, the power of community.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing I'm still curious about.
What's that?
Remember that attendee who realized they were a D2C brand?
Oh, yeah.
What does that even mean?
Right?
And how did that change the way they approach their content?
That's a great question.
It is.
And it leads us to this really interesting conversation about self-awareness and how that can completely change your approach to content creation.
Let's unpack all of that in part 3. Okay, so before we got sidetracked, we were talking about that attendee
Mm-hmm.
who suddenly realized they were a DTC brand.
Right, right.
And I think some people might be thinking, well, duh,
Yeah.
should you already know that?
Totally.
But I bet a lot of creators out there
Yeah.
don't even realize this applies to them.
You're absolutely right.
So break it down for us.
Okay, so DTC, direct to consumer, it means you're selling your products or services directly to your customers.
Okay.
You're not going through a middleman.
So no retailer, no distributor.
Nope, you're cutting out the middleman.
So like an independent artist who's selling their music online,
Exactly.
or an author who self-publishes their book.
Yep.
Or even like a chef who's doing those virtual cooking classes.
All D2C.
They're all D2C brands.
I love it.
And it's pretty empowering, right?
Oh, it is.
Because you've got way more control over your brand, your messaging, your relationship with customers.
You're not relying on anybody else to sell your stuff.
It's all you.
Exactly.
Okay, so how did this realization actually change how this attendee approached their content?
Well, they really started focusing on building that direct relationship with their audience.
Okay.
So instead of just creating content to push their products,
Right.
they started creating content that provided real value,
Okay.
content that built trust,
Yeah.
and really established them as an expert.
So less about the hard sell,
Oh, way.
more about building that community.
Exactly. It's about genuine connection.
Okay, so what did that look like in practice?
So they started asking their audience questions,
Okay.
responding to comments,
Yeah.
even hosting live Q&A.
So it's about like humanizing the brand,
Totally.
putting a face to the product.
Exactly. And this shift completely changed their content strategy.
Oh, wow. How so?
Well, they started creating more educational content, like behind the scenes peeks at their process, and even using content that their customers created,
So smart.
turning those customers into like brand ambassadors.
I love it. But this all takes a lot of time and energy, right?
It does.
Especially when you're running a business.
It's a lot to juggle.
It is. So how do you do it all?
Well, the DNA school really emphasizes those sustainable habits and systems.
Okay.
So they teach people how to create a content calendar, how to batch produce content,
Okay.
and even automate some tasks.
To free up more time to actually engage with their audience.
Exactly. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
Right. Right. But you also need that passion,
Yes,
that commitment to keep going.
you do. And these attendees had it in spades.
They did.
They were so passionate about what they were doing,
That's great.
and they were so eager to learn and grow.
That's inspiring.
It was. They saw content creation as more than just a job.
Yeah.
It was a way to connect, share their knowledge, and make a difference.
Wow. So we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
We've talked about those transformations, the community, the skills.
Yeah.
But what's the one thing you want listeners to take away from this deep dive into the DNA school?
I think the biggest thing is that we can all be amazing creators.
Okay.
But we don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
There are communities out there like the DNA school that
Yeah.
can give us the guidance and support and inspiration we need.
It's about finding your tribe, your people.
Exactly. The ones who get you,
Yeah.
who challenge you, who celebrate your wins.
It's like having your own personal cheer squad.
It really is.
So if you're feeling stuck or alone,
Or just need a little push.
remember, There are people out there who want to connect.
And collaborate.
Don't be afraid to reach out, ask questions, share your work.
You never know who you might inspire.
Beautifully said. And on that note,
Yeah.
that's a wrap on our deep dive into the DNA School of Creatorship.
That was fun.
It was an incredible journey. And I hope our listeners feel empowered to take your own creative journeys to that next level.
I hope so too.
Until next time.